Chelsea and I went to an anime convention very last second and decided to try something new.
So a sugar packet, cinnamon, 5 shots of espresso.
Bit of milk, tiny bit of foam. Should be set for at least 2 hours.
MatsuriCon is a 3-day anime convention held in August in Columbus, Ohio, at the Hyatt Regency Columbus in the Greater Columbus Convention Center. Very last second, it was announced that the giant convention center was also hosting a Republican fundraising dinner on Friday. And so President Trump was actually at a meet and greet in the same building, so I was calling it Trump's Anime Convention. Make anime great again. When I messaged my friend Travis that I'm looking forward to getting killed by some Secret Service members when I challenged the president to a one-on-one katana battle, he replied, "He won't see me in Under Night and Birth, though."
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if I can get this out of the sketchbook.
Yeah.
There we go. Here you are, sir. Your sign, personally made.
Chelsea made a sign offering free portrait drawings, and I had a sign offering to read creepy stories with people.
My glasses.
I forgot them along with my tea.
Chug, 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 chug.
I can't, it's too hot. Like you.
The following is one of the 2 stories I read with randos at the con.
And then anything that's boring I cut out so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So how...
The power of editing.
Huh?
The power of editing.
Yes. Someone recently spilled a bunch of drama, and so I had to find creative ways to edit out all of their drama. It was really funny.
Oh man, they really unloaded on you.
Yes. So I was recording with somebody, and they were talking about beer that they had saved in their fridge, and someone was just like, "Yeah, you can drink that beer." He was going to drink it with blank, and then I had to start editing out me. It was really odd. So your name again is
Adam Wisman.
Adam.
Who's Adam?
Do you have anything you want to plug real quick?
I don't have that much social media. I guess I do have an Instagram with 1 post. It's like Adam Wisman 404, I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, how's your experience been here?
It's been pretty good. I mean, I've enjoyed the dealers hall. I mostly come over here for OhioCon, so I know the layout.
Yeah, I gotcha.
MatsuriCon. It's a lot more on the down low because there's not as many people.
I like MatsuriCon more because it seems that the people who are more hardcore into anime conventions, you get cooler cosplays here because it's it's the dedicated people as opposed to OhioCon, which is
put on a wig,
yes. Which I'm not against. People be creative, but you get the hardcore cosplayers and this kind of stuff. So, what kind of animes are you into?
I'm mostly as a kid, I was into Dragon Ball Z and that kind of stuff. I'm into a lot of stuff. I like Evangelion. That's one of my favorite animes of all time. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Who is your waifu in Evo?
Evangelion. I really like Ray.
Okay, good. Yeah. You made the right answer.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna say Asuka.
No, but
I like Asuka.
Gross human being.
I also I can't remember her name from the rebuild. Those flights of stairs.
Mari. Yeah,
Mari.
I've seen Rebuild 1 and 2. I haven't seen 3 yet. It looks interesting. I am not down on the I don't hate the rebuilds.
Yeah.
Like some people do. I get what they're attempting. Really hate it.
I like them.
They're fine.
It's just because I wasn't around when the original Evangelion was.
I was. Oh, I guess I'm eating that gnat now.
It's good protein.
And then down the gnat goes. I was drinking too quick, so I had to slow down and get a beer.
Drinking too much hard alcohol.
Well, just monetarily, I like drank a really expensive cocktail, and I'm like, well, that's gone.
Yeah. That's all that money done.
There you go. Never turned 21. And you've never drinking because you're not 21 yet.
Oh, don't worry, I never have.
Okay, good boy.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we're reading Buried Alive model.
Yeah.
On the way over here, I decided to pull up some stories from the Poképasta wiki because, of course, that's a thing.
Yeah.
And we're reading Buried Alive model. Now you've said that you've read Pokemon Creepypasta before. So you're familiar with what Creepypasta is and how there's like an odd disproportionate amount of ones about
video games.
Well, even just Pokemon.
Yeah,
for some reason.
I've noticed that it's a lot of like cartoons. It's a lot of like video games.
Well, that's the thing is I've actually had trouble finding stuff. Like I went to a fighting game tournament and I read stories there. I actually had problems finding ones about fighting games specifically. It was weird.
Maybe they're just
so it's like Pokemon, Zelda. Another big one is like Roblox. There's an entire wiki of Roblox wiki.
I did not know that.
Roblox Creepypasta wiki.
I don't even like.
It's good for a laugh.
I know Herobrine was a thing in Minecraft, but
there's a
I didn't know
Minecraft wiki.
Roblox.
Minecraft Creepypasta wiki. That's a whole nother.
Oh my god.
It's like normally what we do is we critique stuff very, very seriously and say like, how can you improve and stuff.
Yeah.
And even here we'll try and do that. But like, man, there is some like, there's some stuff out there where it gets hard to be level-headed.
Yeah. The man came up and he said oof.
Huh?
The man came up and he said oof.
Yes.
I don't know.
But this one is supposed to be, I guess, building on the Buried Alive thing, which I can't remember. I read the Buried Alive thing. It was like literally 3 paragraphs before.
Now that I'm looking at these images, I think I actually have read Buried Alive before.
Well, this isn't Buried Alive. This is Buried Alive model.
Okay.
So this is like the
sequel,
sequel, I'm guessing?
I don't know, maybe.
So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go back and forth. I'll read a paragraph. If you feel like interrupting me or I feel like interrupting you, just interject whatever your thoughts are.
Okay.
Okay, well let's try this out then. Buried Alive model. This particular script was mentioned in the Drowned Sapphire story that had been added to the wiki some time ago. I added some of the Buried Alive pictures there, but now I would actually like to explain what it is about, as it held many fans as far as Poképastas go. So this immediately is just acknowledging that it's a creepypasta.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I mean, it seems to me maybe it's like a, hey, I don't know. It's like an author note, which
maybe.
I don't really understand why you do that in a creepypasta, considering it's supposed to be truthful, I suppose.
See, I've known you all of like less than an hour.
Yeah.
And it seems like you know about creepypasta, but that's not like a huge interest of yours.
It was when I was young.
Okay. And you immediately just like pick up on the fact that this stuff is supposed to be truthful. So why wouldn't this be like separated out as its own thing?
Yeah.
Like that might be like a nice thing to put in the comments.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird though.
It's weird. Yeah.
We don't have the prior experience of Drowned Sapphire though.
Yeah, I don't know what Drowned Sapphire is.
I just discovered that this wiki was a thing like 2 days ago, and I'm like, oh well, it was perfect for MatsuriCon. So,
I mean, in Pokemon Sapphire, you could drown technically.
Could you?
Yeah, I mean, the guy Archie, he floods the world, so he could drown. Very much likely will. Should I read this?
Yeah.
I guess I'll read the next chapter, or the next paragraph. This was covered by another wiki, and I'm posting it for you here and now. Element 2. Often referred to as its code, the Buryman script, the Buried Alive model, was to be found on the final story of the Pokémon Tower in what has now been replaced with the Marowak ghost.
Okay, so the final story of the Pokemon Tower? Story.
Yeah,
story.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an idiot. This isn't the story being an idiot. This is me being an idiot.
I know, I paused there and I thought, like, final story?
Yeah.
I thought this was his, like, extension.
I'll tell you what it is. It was the previous paragraph acknowledging the fact that this is a story.
Yeah.
It was weird. Like I've read, well, like you can see like stuff like Marble Hornets and that kind of stuff talking about Slender Man, and then you'll see other stuff being like, apparently other people are experiencing this too. Like they don't say it's a story, they just acknowledge the fact that there are other stories of a similar nature out there.
Yeah.
And that just fucks with me. Like the fact that they're just like, I know you've read other fictional stories about this. You know, it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, it has now been okay. I already read that. According to the scripts assigned to it, the buried alive model was intended to be the boss of the tower. Boss in quotation marks. Once reaching the top floor, the following conversation would have taken place with the model. I mean, first of all, I'm kind of wondering. So, like, I guess they intended for Buried Alive to be in the game at some point, is what it's trying to say?
Well, that was, like, the thing about Buried Alive, is that this was a thing that was, like, some code that was not activated.
Right.
And so, I guess that's what they're getting at.
Yeah, I mean...
But they're talking in terms of, like, here's the thing that was supposed to happen, but then they don't like cite a source where they're getting this information from.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, maybe citing a source would have taken away from it, but I think that would help. Like, yeah, no, you're definitely right. It would definitely like validate the story, as in like this is real. I think that
Your ellipses, here ellipses. I'm trapped, and after this, the battle would have initiated. Carbonation burn. Once in the view battle, the buried alive model appeared to be a decaying human corpse attempting to crawl out of the ground. It had been programmed to have two white hands, a Gengar and a Muck.
I don't really know what that means. Like, what does it mean? Oh, it's like a trainer. Oh,
yeah,
I see.
It's supposed to be a trainer, but like they're using this term "two white hands."
I thought it meant like as in like the sprite was a combination of two white hands and Gengar and Muck.
Yes, it's.
I don't know how you would do that.
It's just a dead human, and one of its hands is a Gengar, and the other hand is a Muck.
I guess so. That would be an interesting boss, you know.
Yeah, I suppose so. A human that's a part Pokemon on its That's giving me a funny visual, though.
Yeah. Strangely enough, a protocol for the Buried Alive's actions after it was defeated were not written. In the case of the player defeating him, the game would freeze.
However, a specific ending was written by an unknown programmer upon losing the battle.
Just a rogue programmer?
A rogue programmer, apparently.
He just really hated his job at the Pokemon company, I guess. Game Freak.
Yeah, I can't imagine why they would say like rogue programmer. It's not like you go through and know who programmed what exactly.
Yeah.
In a video game.
Not to mention the fact that it was like Japanese, so I don't know where you. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of telling without sources.
Yeah.
And again, this is supposed to be real. There's never been a point in this story where they're like, I'm posting this to the Creepypasta wiki, but it's not supposed to be a Creepypasta.
Kind of acknowledge that at the beginning?
Yeah.
But not really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And this ending, Buried Alive, was to have stated, finally, fresh meat, followed by several lines of gibberish. I'm lonely. He was to have then drag the player's character into the ground surrounding him. The scene would have finished with the typical game over screen, however. In the background, an image of the Buried Alive character devouring the player was to have been shown. So this is just repeating the Buried Alive story.
Yeah, this really is. I guess not to mention the fact that Pokemon doesn't really have game overs. It's got like you blacked out when you just go to a Pokemon Center. You never really lose.
Yeah, like the game over and then your save is deleted.
I don't know. Maybe they'll explain it later.
That's optimistic.
Yeah.
Optimistic, Cole.
Especially peculiar were the protocols for after this scene. The The cartridge was to... Oh, I see. Now it's explaining what happens afterwards. The cartridge was to download this image to the small internal memory contained in the Game Boy, overwriting the title screen that normally accompanied a Game Boy turning on. Instead, whenever it was started, the player would view this image as the sound file staticmesh.wave was played. The intended purpose for this effect, unlike many of the other factors leading towards Lavender Town syndrome, is unknown. I'm wondering how it downloads onto it. Wouldn't it already be on the cartridge?
Downloading from where?
Yeah, I don't know.
Those Wi-Fi enabled
Game Boys?
Game Boys? I don't know.
Yeah, it just downloads from Creepypasta.
Okay, so it did attempt to explain what was going on.
Oh, that's the end?
That's the end, apparently.
Okay.
Then there's just a bunch of pictures of fan art.
Yeah, Red is too scared to move. Game over.
So what do you think of this story?
I don't like it very much.
I would state the same.
I mean, I'm probably not as gullible as I was when I was maybe 13 or 14 when I read these, but I think even then I probably wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't think it was very good.
So that's the thing, is in the entire time that I've been like an adult who's skeptical, I have witnessed Creepypasta evolve, so I've always been skeptical of this kind of stuff. So you're saying that even 13-year-old you, which you're closer to 13-year-old you than I am to 13-year-old me,
Yeah.
you're saying you would be skeptical of this and be like, what's going on?
I was, if you know about the NES Godzilla
Yes.
Creepypasta, I was kind of skeptical of that because it felt more like a story than Creepypasta to me. Especially
I can
with,
see
like,
that.
the ending where you won.
Yeah, so there's definitely that.
Yeah. I would have felt those.
If you could give one big piece of advice to the person who wrote this, or to people listening who want to know what's wrong with this, what would you say it is?
Like we brought up a lot, it really just kind of, like at the beginning, it says like, it mentions that it is a creepypasta, which is kind of, like it's supposed to be like, oh, I found the story and I uploaded it here. I don't know. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's a story, it's based on this, we just uploaded it here. And there's a lot of like misinformation in here that if somebody like knew like anything about the Game Boy or anything about Pokemon would kind of be like, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you would expect the person who wrote this to be a pretty big fan of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And like have this stuff down pat. I don't know where you've ever seen a game over screen in Pokemon.
I haven't really. It's never said like game over.
Alright then. Well, Adam, it's been nice chatting with you. You have anything you want to plug? Or you can plug anything. you can plug the concept of doubt in someone's head.
I don't know. I guess my Steam, Esper 404. That's a Pokemon.
There you go.
That's a Pokemon right there.
Yeah, your friend was dressed up as like with all the Asper shit.
Yeah, he's got Umbreon.
Umbreon shit.
Yeah, Umbreon shit.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Well, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.